to CV Tales channel. Thank you for watching and listening to CV Tales. You are the best.
Once upon a time, in a big kingdom, Delta State, Nigeria, there was a prince named Cheta in a Yahweh community. He is the son of the king. He is smart and kind, and everyone knew he would one day become the king. But there was a problem. The ladies in the kingdom did not love him for who he was, they only cared about his riches. Cheta wanted to marry, but all the maidens were after his gold and treasures, not his heart. One day, Cheta's father, the king, came to his room. He looked very serious. "My son," the king said, "how can you one day become king if you keep changing the maidens in the kingdom? Why don't you choose one, settle down, and be happy?" Cheta sighed. "Father, I've tried, but none of them truly cares about me. They only care about what I have." The king thought for a while. Then he said, "Let us try something different. You will pretend to be lame. You will sit in a wheelchair, and we will see who still comes to you." Cheta agreed. The next day, he started sitting in a wheelchair. The people in the kingdom began to whisper, "The prince is sick. He cannot walk anymore." All the maidens who came for his wealth stopped visiting. They didn't want to be with a prince who couldn't walk. But there was one orphan girl in the kingdom. She had no parents, and her heart was very kind. One day she saw Cheta sitting in his wheelchair outside. She didn't run away like the others. Instead, she walked up to him and asked, "Can I help you?" Cheta smiled and said, "Yes, please. Can you help me inside?" The orphan girl pushed Cheta's wheelchair into the palace. Cheta was touched by her kindness. No one else had helped him like that. The next day, Cheta asked her, "Will you stay here and help me every day?" The orphan girl nodded, "Yes, I will." From that day, she became his best friend. They spent time together, laughing, talking, and enjoying each other's company. Cheta knew that she was different from the others. She didn't care about his wealth or if he could walk. She cared about his heart. One day, Cheta called his father. "Father, this is the girl I want to spend my life with," he said. The orphan girl was so happy that tears filled her eyes. Even though Cheta was still sitting in his wheelchair, he knew he had found someone who truly loved him. The whole kingdom talked about their love. Everyone was happy because the prince had finally found true love, not because of riches, but because of kindness and care. True love is not about riches or treasures. It is about caring for each other, no matter what. The wheelchair represents the test of true love. The orphan girl represents kindness and love that comes from the heart. As days went by, Cheta and the orphan girl grew even closer. Her name was Amara, and her heart was as beautiful as her smile. She treated Cheta with love, helping him without asking for anything in return. The people in the kingdom began to notice their bond, and many were happy that the prince had found someone who truly cared for him. One day, the king called Cheta to his room. "My son," the king began, "I see that Amara is a kind and special girl. She has stayed by your side even when everyone else left. But now the people are wondering, will you marry her?" Cheta looked at his father with a smile. "Father, I want to marry her. Amara has shown me that true love is not about how strong I am or how much gold I have. She loves me for who I am." The king smiled back. "Then it is time. Let us prepare for the wedding." News of the prince's marriage spread throughout the kingdom. Everyone was excited, but there were also whispers. Some people still didn't believe that Cheta could rule the kingdom in his wheelchair. They thought a prince who couldn't walk might not be strong enough to be a good king. On the day of the wedding, the palace was filled with joy. Bright decorations hung from the walls, and music filled the air. People came from all over the kingdom to see the prince and his bride. Cheta, still in his wheelchair, was dressed in royal robes, and Amara wore a simple but beautiful dress. As Cheta and Amara came out before the crowd, something incredible happened. Cheta slowly stood up from his wheelchair. The crowd gasped in surprise, and Amara's eyes filled with tears of happiness. Cheta smiled and held Amara's hand. "I can walk," he said. "But even if I couldn't, I would still be the happiest man in the world because I have found true love." The kingdom cheered and celebrated their prince's strength and his heart. Cheta and Amara's love had triumphed over everything: riches, sickness, and doubt. After the wedding, Cheta called his queen Amara. "There is something I need to tell you since, but this is the right time." Amara listened carefully. "I was never lame," he said. "It was I and the kings, my father's plan to enable me find a true love with good and kind heart that can understand and rule the kingdom." "Why I'll go this far?" his queen asked. "My dear, it is a long story," he said. "I am very happy and lucky I found you," with a smile on his face. "I am lucky then," Amara said. "No, it is your kindness and good heart that made the way for you. I love you with everything I have, my queen," the prince said with joy. From that day on, Cheta ruled the kingdom with wisdom and kindness. Amara was by his side as his queen, and together they showed everyone that love and kindness were more powerful than anything else. True love and kindness can overcome all challenges. It doesn't matter what you have or don't have. What matters is what's in your heart. Cheta standing up represents the power of love and belief, showing that sometimes our greatest strength comes from within. Amara's simple dress symbolizes that true beauty is not in fancy clothes or riches, but in a kind heart. And so Cheta and Amara lived happily, their love becoming a story that people would tell for generations.